Welcome to the Fishing Daily podcast. Me, Oliver McBride. Today, my guests are Emma Plotnek and David Stevens from the Fishing into the Future charity. And we'll be talking about the charity and the work that they do and what Fishing into the Future is all about. So welcome, David, and welcome, Emma.
Hi,
thanks for having us. Good morning.
So, David, tell us about Fishing into the Future for people who haven't heard about it.
Yeah, thanks, Oliver, and thanks for readership of the Fishing Daily. Fishing in the Future is a charity, and we're formed by fishermen for fishermen, and really it's to bring a collaborative approach forward for the industry and to help fishermen along the way in sort of learning to collaborate with science and management, and also, we're there also to help educate science and management in how to collaborate properly. So it's to really get conversations started and to really help face down the challenges that we face within the fishery and to break down those barriers by using a collaborative approach. That's really what Fishing in the Future tries to aim to achieve.
And what drove the need for the organisation?
Well, the need is there really because, the further that we go into fisheries policy and, the more tightly that we try and manage it, the more the industry is going to have to work together with science and management and understand each other's roles more clearly. So what really drove Fishing in the Future was that need to have that conversation, to get that conversation moving. And it was the lack of communication within the industry that really drove the need for it to be there. And we looked at luckily we have Alexa Dayton, who works for the Gulf of Maine Research Project in America, and they've had a very successful program that's been running, I think, nearly 20 years now. And they are centrally funded now by the US government to really take on this approach and to make that work. And they've created management boards made up by fishermen representatives and science and management, and they are a model of a co-management approach that happens in the US, and they've made great strides in delivering data into the system and building those relationships between the industry, management and fishermen to really get to a place for the fishery in a better place far quicker. So we've got Alexa on the board, and she's a great guide for us. And I think originally going back, Hazel Curtis of Seafish and Alexa just got together one night and said, hey, what's happening with you? And she told her about this, and I think they thought that would be good for the UK.
And how did you get involved in it yourself?
Well, I got involved. I was doing my own sort of fishery research. I'd done many years on the boat, and we've been doing it on board the Crystal Sea for many years. So I met Fishing in the Future about 5 years ago when I was out in Barcelona presenting some other work that I was doing. I met Alan Steer, who was then the chairman of Fishing in the Future, and he was there with Jim Masters, who was the chief executive at the time, and they were out presenting work being done for Fishing in the Future that they were doing. And they told me about the project. They told me what the charity did, and I thought, that's a really great idea. It was good to have one body representing what we were looking to try and achieve to increase that conversation. So I then started to get involved slowly and went to the meetings, and I've got more involved as time's gone on.
And Emma, what role do you play in the charity?
Hi. So I'm the program manager, and I came into this role around September last year. And I know that, like, in the UK fishing industry, everyone seems to know each other, and a lot of people are like, well, who's this girl that's come in that we haven't heard about yet? So I spent a long time abroad. I worked mostly the past kind of 10 years. I've been working in Chile, I've been in Canada, I've kind of been out of the UK fishing sector for a while, and came back last year and found and found this job, which just looked exceptional. I after working a long time in Chile, where they have a very good framework for fisheries management, but you see that the people engaging in fisheries management don't have the right skills and capabilities in order to engage, really proactively in building good management plans. I feel like a lot of places in the world are crying out for somewhere like Fishing into the Future that can kind of come in and just create more knowledge and better understanding and more empathy between all the different people working in the UK fishing sector, to ensure that we're just having better conversations and working a bit more constructively together. And
could you tell us about your trustees and who are the people who contribute to charity and the wider fishing sector itself?
Do you want me to go ahead with that, or?
Yeah, you can.
So, I mean, I'm the only paid employee of Fishing into the Future. I very much am responsive to the needs of our trustees and also wider stakeholders and people who engage with us as a charity. So our trustees are, we maintain a 2/3 kind of quota of actively fishing trustees, and then the rest of them are made up by fishing experts. So we have a mix of trustees who are from around the coast of the UK, and we also have trustees who have large vessels and small vessels, and some of them fish, whitefish and groundfish and pelagics, and then other ones fishing for shellfish. So it's quite a diverse range of trustees we've got. And we do recognise we're actually at the moment trying to broaden our trustees. We're trying to get more people on board to make sure we are truly representative of, the people fishing in the UK. And then the kind of other third of our trustees is made up by, people who are working in academia, and, other sectors of UK fishing, kind of fisheries experts. And all of them are working with us collaboratively and, giving their time for free. It's quite important to just highlight that a lot of people are very enthusiastic about this project and really willing to kind of give their time and energy into making sure it works. And my job's just kind of listening to all of them and putting all of these great ideas into action.
And David, do you have a specific role as a trustee, or is it a general role that all the trustees carry?
Yeah, I mean, we all bring something to the mix. I mean, I've got, what I've been involved with through my fishing career, and, really sort of kind of struggling to even myself in the beginning, I was struggling to understand why we was doing a lot of the work that the scientists wanted to be done. They were struggling to understand where I was coming from with some of the problems I had. And then the management were kind of stuck in the middle, struggling to understand why this was all such a problem. So that was kind of my background, and I kind of bring that understanding, having gone through that and finding their way through. I kind of bring, that's kind of my part, I bring that through. But we've got some really great fishermen involved. We've got Jimmy Buchan, we've got Peter, Bruce, we've got it's just a great fisherman. We've got Adrian Bartlett, so we've got some really great fishermen involved, who also been working in science, and have gone on a similar sort of journey in their own ways. So they're bringing their expertise there. We've got some, great people in academia, Mike Kaiser, and we've got Alexa, we've got Hazel, all of them with a massive amount of experience. Steve Mackinson as well, the Pelagic Fishermen's Association. So, there's a lot of ideas there, but we're all heading in the same direction. We want a better future for the fishery, and all of the ideas that we can bring together and more people we can bring through to sort of create that co-management approach, and have the best ideas going forward, the better. I'm chairing at the moment, and it's a rotating chair, so I'll be doing 3 years. I took over from Alan Steer, so Alan Steer did a great job bringing the Fishing Future up until a year ago when I took over, and I've just been in the chair recently. It's pretty informal, it's I don't wear a chairman's badge or anything like that, like you do. It's all very informal. So, and then when my time is up, there's some great people behind me who more likely would take over, but I'd still remain part of the board of trustees, and we all keep driving it forward together. So there's no seniority. It's just about, yeah, all hands on deck, making it happen, really.
Is fishing into the future open to anyone to get involved, or is there a criterion for anybody who's interested in joining?
No, the only criteria is enthusiasm and wanting to sort of make that co-management future happen. We open it to everyone, you know, family businesses, you know, small scale fishing up to, you know, the largest type of fishing. It really doesn't matter. We're there to represent the entire industry as a whole. I'd just like to add that Fishing the Future we've got their patron is Royal Highness Prince Charles, and he's very proactive in that science and understanding of science can solve a lot of the problems. And I do think he's right. I think the more we understand about something, the quicker we can solve the problems that we face. So, you know, that his reason to be behind it. We're lucky to have him as our patron, and you know, I'd welcome anyone to be part of the charity. We've got a great patron, a really great team, and I really do think we're heading in the right direction.
If you want me to add on to that as well. So we have different ways that we engage with kind of different audiences to an extent. So we've got our trustees. I mean, Dave and Adrian's our vice chair, Adrian Bartlett. They're kind of, I reach out to them kind of on a weekly, daily basis, and they help guide kind of our work kind of on a more of a smaller scale. Then we have our wider trustees, and we meet, you know, once a month to once every 3 months and discuss kind of directions we're going in and projects we're developing. And part of the people that are very heavily involved and funding part of our work is the Fishmongers Charitable Trust. So Fishmongers Hall, I work between the South Coast and also have a hot desk when we can move at Fishmongers Hall. So I work really closely with the fisheries team at Fishmongers Hall, who are very dedicated to like promoting the future of UK fisheries and things like collaborative science, industry-led science, co-management. So they're a really great team to work with. And then we kind of have what we call our crew, and our crew are the people that have previously been to Fishing into the Future events or are really interested to come to our future events, and really interested in engaging in co-management and engaging in industry-led science. We bring these people on and we kind of do ongoing engagement and training, and we put out in whatever world we live in at the moment. It obviously used to be, you know, in-person larger courses, but at the moment we're working on doing more stuff online and engaging the conversation in that way. And then aside from that, we engage, you know, we talk frequently with DEFRA, we talk frequently with MMO, with Marine Scotland, the Welsh Fishermen's Association. So we kind of, I don't know, I feel like I spend most of my day talking to people from all over UK fisheries, which has been great. It's been a great way for me to learn about the industry, kind of hit the ground running. But yeah, we don't want to be exclusive in any way whatsoever. As long as you're willing to come and have a constructive conversation about building better, more prosperous, more sustainable fisheries in the future, we're kind of welcome to everybody.
I'd just like to add that, you know, like Emma touched on with our relationship with Fishmongers Hall, that's really important because we're not an NGO, we are a charity, we're not funded by NGOs, and the independence that we get from being, we are funded by Fishmongers Hall, and yeah, that's really important because they are non-political, they don't have any steer other than the support that they give us, so we remain totally independent. So we're not speaking for anybody other than what the needs are for the industry. You know, we don't have a voice in this. We're just there to give the industry a voice. And you know, I can only thank Fishmongers Hall for that, giving us the ability to have that independence. That's very important.
Does the charity have a vision for the future of what fishing will look like, or is there a model that you would like to use?
Yeah, as we touched on earlier, in the USA, you know, that has evolved now over the last 20 years, where you have localized management boards made up of fishermen, scientists and managers, and they manage the fishery themselves, you know. So there's less government, more local management. And I think, you know, when you're talking about fisheries around the world, I think everyone would like to head in that direction. And now the UK is free of the CFP, you know, we can now start moving in that direction very quickly. So, you know, that co-management word is going to become more important. And I think it's going to be definitely the future. And I'd look for government to sort of maintain its, you know, its want, and it's going to need to go that way. But that co-management does, you know, then that decision making then goes to the industry. So then that poses its own challenges. So the industry has to be prepared for that challenge, that you're going to have to sit in the room with scientists and managers and really then take difficult decisions, because where you was having the decisions thrown at you and you was having to accept them, now you're going to have to make those decisions. That's a better place to be, but that's certainly not easy. So all of the three pillars, if you like, science, management and fishing, will have to understand their roles in that and how to approach that. And that's kind of what Fishing in the Future does. So our role is not to speak for the industry, it's only to facilitate that to happen. It's only to facilitate the ability for the industry to understand each other's roles and then move that co-management approach forward. So we're not here with a political agenda, or you know, we're only here to help back the industry for what it wants as a whole, and to bring in the right people to make that conversation happen.
Yeah, I think Dave says it really well, that kind of our only kind of mission is to ensure that the future industry is sustainable and that the industry is prosperous. There's prosperous businesses within the industry, and people they have the right skills, knowledge, capacity, you know, and the confidence as well to engage in things like co-management and industry-led science. It's really important to also just understand that what Dave said, you know, we're not here to speak for anyone. We want to ensure that the intricacies of what our vision for the future is the vision of what, you know, people engaged in the UK fishing sector want, and ensure that there's, you know, a representative body of people are able to form that future industry that we hope to see it being sustainable and prosperous.
I would say to anyone who's going to look at this from the UK industry, you know, if there's a problem within your fishing, we know there's lots of problems out there existing from management problems, then I would like to see, certainly in the future, how do we see this future evolving? Well, you know, I would like to see them be able to come to Fishing in the Future with the problems that they've had. Maybe there's a problem with the sort of communication with their IFCA, communication with DEFRA, how to get that message out. Are they not being heard? Do you come to Fishing in the Future and, you know, tell them the problems that they're facing with a certain management or a certain fishery, or certain technical regulations that they're struggling with, and you know, we'll hopefully at Fishing in the Future we'll be able to find the right people to get them all in a room and to start that conversation with whoever's needed, whether that be DEFRA or whether it be with the IFCA, the right scientists in the room, the right fishermen in the room who are being affected, and to really just start that conversation, and they can then just sort those problems out in the room with everybody who's meant to be there to help make that happen. And that's what we do. You know, we make the conversation happen, and hopefully we can sort of solve the problems as we meet them.
It's very good. It's very interesting. I'm sure people would like to learn more about Fishing into the Future. Where can they find out more about it?
I can do that bit. So we are trying our best to reach everyone in a way that's appropriate for everyone. So we're on social media, we're on Facebook with the Fishing into the Future, at Fishing into the Future, and we're on Twitter, fishing_future. People can also just go on our website, which is fishingintothefuture.co.uk. You can find my mobile number, you can send me a WhatsApp, give me a call, whatever works for you. And we are hoping, because we know not everybody is engaged in that, you know, it's going to watch kind of podcasts online and stuff, but if you've got anyone that might be interested in talking to us, you know, you can always, we're going to start to find ways on getting on the road a bit more, reaching out to people through local organisations, speaking to local associations, and making sure that the word of our work gets out. So anyone who does want to engage in our work is able to do that and able to reach us.
Well, thank you very much, Emma, and thank you very much, David. It's been very interesting, and I'm sure we'll probably at some time have you back on again to learn more about what's happening in the future and it'd be great to have you here.
Thanks. Yeah, we'd be really
Thanks,
happy
Oliver.
to come. Yeah.
Okay,
Great
and
talking.
thank you for speaking to us today.